Yeah, that's my presentation. So, hi everyone. I'm gonna talk today about algorithms in existing DeFi protocols, DeFi projects, and what's I consider the most important about them. So, three important parts here is first that, as far as you can see, that we experience that computations in DeFi, they are very limited. And I'm in DeFi development for more than 7 years, and I honestly does not believe it will be changed dramatically in few next like 5-10 years. So computations will be eventually very limited. And there's no any chance that if you are building any algorithm which should involve multiple participants, that if you will have linear complexity, it will ever work in DeFi. So you should use algorithms which have constant complexity or logarithmic complexity. So some of DeFi algorithms, so DeFi protocols, they already have algorithms inside of them which works with potentially infinite amount of participants, like thousands, millions, or billions, and the costs of these operations, of these algorithms, are constant. And the third part is that using those algorithms, which I will classify today, is like a new way to describe how exactly your protocol works on like a bit higher level than people usually describe it. So I came up to some classification of these algorithms. All these algorithms are infinite scalable, and they are classified by the asset. Is it the same asset as the deposit or nominal of users, or it's different asset? Is it happening instant, based on some event like transaction or like anything else? Or it's gradual over time? And direction, is it dispensing or collecting? It depends. If you're collecting from multiple participants to one participant some values, it's collection. If you're dispersing from one participant to multiple participants, potentially infinite number of participants, it's dispensing. So here I put some algorithm or some protocols, and algorithms in those protocols are classified like that. So let's dive into it. For example, in AMMs, fee from one user is being distributed among multiple liquidity providers. And it doesn't matter how much liquidity providers you have. Is it like 1,000 of wallets or 1 million of wallets? So this swap fee will be distributed proportionally to their liquidity with O1 complexity. For example, for money market, we see that those who borrowers, they are paying gradually interest, and this interest is being redistributed among lenders, liquidity providers. So it looks like two different algorithms are involved here. One is collecting assets from multiple participants, and another is distributing value among multiple participants. But actually, money markets implementation is a bit tricky, and they use the same algorithm. So it's the same algorithm of distribution. But for borrowers, they are just distributing same asset, their debt. It's like distributing of debt token. But it works. So let's get back to this classification. So you can see same asset instant dispersing. It's basically AMMs and many other AMMs. Here are just the most popular ones. For example, same asset gradual dispensing. You can see it's Compound, MakerDAO, Synthetics, DAI. It's DAI savings rate, Aave. So they are dispensing values even if it's debt. They are dispensing debts to borrowers, and they are dispensing values, positive values, to those who provide liquidity. So if we would discuss same asset instant collection, it's basically rug pull and options and probably insurance protocols. So whenever Oracle decides that all the insurance sellers or options sellers should be charged, they will be charged with one transaction. So this happened instant. It's collection, proportional from every participant, and it's in the same asset, which is the nominal. So one more thing here is same asset, gradual collection. This is, I have a slide about this, it's here. It's about money streams or subscriptions. So the basic idea here is that people can have subscriptions, which is actually linear streams among wallets. And what's the most important part of the protocol, that each account here has some speed of incoming and outgoing streams. This allows to compute your next balance without enumerating all your streams. Like, you could run Netflix on blockchain right now without like waiting for 1,000 TPS, hundreds of thousands TPS. So you can have subscriptions of millions of users where you don't need to enumerate all those streams. So collecting assets from millions of streams is same cost as collecting from 10 streams or 1,000 streams or one stream. So let's get back to classification again. So yeah, you can see that different asset is not very popular direction. So I see here only different asset gradual dispensing. That's basically farming. And project synthetics. They were like the first project who started doing this, even without smart contract initially. Yeah, and then I, with my colleague Michael, implemented farming smart contract for them. I'm not sure that other algorithms are not existing. I'm not aware of all DeFi algorithms, of all DeFi protocols. Probably some of them could be here. So what I'm pointing to is that all those protocols, they have algorithms which allows them to involve potentially infinite amount of participants with constant gas costs. This means that those protocols, they are already ready for blockchain adoption. So you see that DeFi is like a future of finance, but it's not yet there always, because we have lack of computational like in system, our gas is limited, so we just can't enumerate millions of participants and do random algorithms like which are possible in traditional finance. But all those protocols, they are kind of ready already. They are ready for adoption. And that's why they are getting a lot of traction in DeFi. So whenever one operation involves a huge amount of users, like thousands, millions, if you would implement it with one complexity, with one of those algorithms, you are safe. It would work. It would work, and it is already working for most of the projects. But if you are trying to do something else which with higher complexity, like you have much, much less chances that this would work. So what I also propose to discuss protocols and architectures in terms of those algorithms, because this would give a more clear explanation how exactly your algorithm works, how your protocol works, how it engages multiple of users, and yeah, what's the economy behind the protocol. That's probably it. Let me check if I have more slides. Ah, yeah. Okay, I forgot about this. So yeah, if we would look at instant distributions, they have one common issue. They are all event-based, and this means that they are all triggered by transaction. This also means that they are potentially vulnerable to front-running attacks and sandwich attacks. So what happens with, for example, Opium protocol? funds are locked in the pool until Oracle have a decision, should they pay or not. That's fine. Lock works, and it protects from front-running attacks, sandwich attacks. But for example, for AMMs, it's not true. They are not protected, and that's what's happening. You see, there are, for example, there are 3 different pools involving USDC, USDT, and DAI, and someone have 3 million of those assets. So they are injecting their liquidity right before swaps. Why? What they are achieving? They are achieving, it's like virtually having 6 million of liquidity by really having only 3 million. So you see, it's like Uniswap version 2 or something like that. If you will have liquidity 2 million in each pool before huge swap, you will have like virtually 6 million. But if you will have more assets involved, this coefficient is even more crazy. Like if you would have 10 different assets, you will have much more different pools, and you will have much better coefficient of liquidity. Like 10 different assets, 10 millions will probably turn into hundreds of millions of virtual liquidity. And this is already exploited by aka JIT liquidity bots. They provide liquidity just in time. Whenever they see huge swap, which they want to get their fees, they inject liquidity, and then they withdraw it back. So potentially, it's possible to avoid this, to protect those liquidity providers who are not cheating like that. But you know, they are improving exchange rate for users. So that's good. But they are making liquidity providers less efficient. Those who do not use this strategy, they are less efficient than those who use this strategy. So yeah, this could be leveraged if we will have delayed deposits or delayed withdrawals or better deposits. Yeah. So technically, it's possible to use something, but the problem is here, and it requires something to be resolved, probably. We can ignore it, and we will have 2 sets of liquidity providers, those who provide it constantly and those who provide it like a JIT. So yeah, that is not an issue for gradual distributions. For example, here, when we have money market, it's not when you return your debt, these percentages are being distributed among those who provide liquidity right now. It works differently. Your debt is growing every second. And every second, your all debts of all borrowers are being redistributed among lenders. So that's how it works. Your debt is growing every second, and collateral of everyone is growing every second. So there is no any room for front-running or sandwiching here, because it's gradual. It's not event-based or instant distribution. So let me check if I have more slides. No. So this means that we have almost 10 minutes for questions.
Thank you so much. So take a seat. We've got 15 minutes of questions. And I'm really going to need your guys' help. So if we could switch to the Slido view, that would be really, really great. And please get your phones out. I think most of you that have been here know what you need to do at this point. And yeah, we can just talk about some questions. My biggest question right now is, we're going to do the Q&A, not this one. What's next? All of that stuff, super cool, classification, completely understand, but where do you think that maybe the industry is going to go next, and maybe also talk about what you guys are also going to do next?
I had a recently discussion with my colleague Michael, and I think that's reasonable to think that the very first inventions in DeFi, which were like, they're pretty obvious right now, it's AMMs, money markets, like other protocols, which were also listed here. They were invented because it was like the very first things to be invented. They were not actually existing in this form in traditional finance, or in this kind of algorithms. They were not existing, definitely, because there was no any requirement to optimize this high to have no computational complexity at all, to have constant complexity. And I think that we will see more cool protocols involving these kinds of algorithms. Maybe we will see something new, but I'm not sure. I tried to kind of classify and analyze it from different sides. I'm not sure that we will see anything different, but we can see new applications of these things. They are also called accounting algorithms, and I see that there is like a huge room for innovations in this area. So yeah, probably we will see something new for options-like approach. I mean, we saw a lot of implementations of options which were kind of highly inspired from traditional finance options, but we could see something different, which provides something really similar, close to original options, but it's different thing. And it's more optimized for execution on blockchain. It have own advantages.
Okay. Cool. There's a lot there. There's a lot there. And what's next for 1inch?
Oh, we're currently exploring different opportunities. We are having research and development phase for multiple different products. We're working in direction of cross-chain actions for users. We're working on intents. That's very interesting about intents. You know, everyone is talking about intents, but the thing is that I don't see if anyone trying to summarize like what are the features, what should be done by these intents, what should not be done, what are restrictions, and that's something what everyone should decide for themselves. It's like
optionality.
Yeah, mostly people understand any signature-based actions that it's actually intents, but yeah, probably there should be more things, like there should be more things which how you can define restrictions or traits of your intents. You could have time-based traits or anything else based traits. You should have invalidation per selector or per action or global per user or something like that. I mean, there are many things and no one is clearly defining it because everyone who came up to Intents protocol is building own thing. The only common part is that it's signature based. So yeah, but signatures are pretty hard. You see, yesterday there was an announcement in Twitter that next Ethereum hard fork is gonna have Ethereum Improvement Proposal 3074. That's something which would allow smart contracts to behave on behalf of your wallet with just your signature.
A form of account abstraction in a way, or?
Yeah, you know, this thing means that previous approaches for account abstraction, they are not gonna make it. So this ERC...
Yeah, that's a statement, I think.
ERC 4337, it's like capitulation. I mean, there is no any need to use it anymore. If this thing will be included in the next hard fork, this is like game changer for wallets, because you will be able to execute arbitrary logic from your wallet. Smart contract will execute it for you, but yeah, the same thing, audits, and you can make atomic things from your wallet. That's pretty interesting.
Cool. Thanks for sharing your thoughts there. We're going to transition to the audience questions, so please continue upvoting. So we're just going to go top to bottom. So the first one is, what do you see as the main revenue driver of 1inch in the future?
We've
got a lot to get through, so we're looking for short answers.
Yeah, I'm mostly focused on other things, like on potential growth. And I can share my vision of the market. I see that DeFi is a missing piece of finance world. and how finance world was built without this layer of blockchain and DeFi is kind of a mistake. But there was no any other way to have it. There was zero chances that we would first have blockchains and then we invent all this economical and financial primitives. Yeah,
It's obsolete at this point.
yeah, it's legacy actually. Yeah, and what I tried to say with my presentation is that DeFi is not something which is coming in like 5-10 years. It's already here, and most of the protocols which were in this table, they are ready for high scale. Like they are ready for millions or billions of users. Even if blockchains, layer 1s and layer 2s are not ready for this, they are already ready because they're involving millions of participants in single transaction. They are all like their balance grows or drops, but all these things happens on whenever someone can make transaction. All this happens without transactions in gradual approach. I mean, this thing like money market, it's already working. And right now, thousands or millions of people can borrow from thousands or millions of users, and it's already working. It can work. We don't need like billions of gas to spend this thing. We need only gas when people do some actions. But when they are not doing anything, this algorithm allows them to get this money streaming, debt streaming to money, and this happens via mathematics.
And soon a lot of privacy based off of the last 24 hours of what's been going on here. So coming soon with privacy. Next question is, do you stand with Uniswap, unicorn emoji?
It's new information for me that I should put emoji somewhere, okay. We should put emoji of unicorn / ACC, yeah? Or something like that. This would be even more promising. Yeah, I think that's interesting thing what's happening, but probably there's no any other way to get high level of confirmation of this DeFi being accepted worldwide without this thing, what is happening. So probably this is one...
What is happening for people that don't know what's happening?
To Uniswap. I mean, that's probably...
Legal stuff or...
Yeah. I mean, that's probably one of the steps which is required for the future.
Yeah. The industry is growing up. There's going to be a lot of regulatory shit tomorrow morning here. Any thoughts about virtual automated market makers, VAMM?
That's interesting. I'm not sure how much they're different from automated market makers. Is it
They have a narrative problem.
I missed this thing, yeah? Virtual. I'm not sure what exactly it is, but I think it's something like AMM, but with some restrictions like concentrated liquidity or other things like Uniswap V3, V4, like Curve, Balancer. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Whoever asked that question can go find Anton afterwards and have a discussion about that, I think. The last question, and then we're going to move on to the next panel, is when 1 inch on Solana? WEN without the H. Fuck.
There are many cool blockchains out there where 1 inch is not presented yet. I would say we are constantly working on this. We are looking at different chains and considering like opportunities for sure. Right now we are on EVM chains because it's much more easier to scale among those chains and support them. Development for other chains would automatically mean like months of work and also this access to nodes and stability and other things. It's like a different level. So
no one said it was easy.
But yeah, you see also like Ton blockchain is emerging, and it's
who here? Someone said this earlier in the outside. Who here is a fan of Tron? Not Tron. Fuck that. The answer is no. Ton. Telegram. Who here knows about what plans they have, what they're coming out with? No? Really? Okay. Well, pay more attention, I think. I'm not shilling them, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm also not shilling. I'm just curious what I knew recently. I mean, that's the blockchain which have sharding already, and they force blockchain DeFi developers to shard their smart contracts by just restricting storage amount. So storage in Ton blockchain for smart contract is very limited. It's like few hundred slots. So you can't even have a token smart contract because you can store balance of multiple users. So the way they propose you to develop software is make sharding of your smart contract. It's like sharded architecture for smart contracts, sharded per user. I had a presentation about this 4 years ago. That's a cool story, actually. I had presentation about sharded smart contract architecture. If you would try to find this on YouTube, you will find it immediately. And 2 days ago, I discovered that Ton fungible token standard called Jet Tons is based on my presentation.
Nice.
They have this in their enhancement proposal. They have this link that was unexpected and fun. That thing which I came up to for sharded architectures of smart contracts with non-interactive checks for calls among those contracts, sharded logic. It's being used actually in sharded blockchain where they force people to shard their smart contracts. The idea behind the sharding is that they rebalance shards. They move different smart contracts among shards to rebalance computational complexity of the blockchain. That's interesting approach. I mean, it's like one of the few blockchains with shards which is actually working right now. I'm not sure that it will be possible to build such a huge DeFi thing which appeared on EVM already because, you know, EVM is atomic and atomic is much more easier for development. Sharded blockchains, they don't have atomicity. Whenever you call any other smart contract, it's a synchronous call. It's like a separate transaction, and whenever it gets finished, you can get a callback. But if you send some tokens and then you change it your mind, it's not possible anymore because those assets could be spent on this shard or something like that. So I'm not sure what exactly is possible to build, but it's something is possible to build. People build tokens, people build AMMs. I will be curious to see what else they can build in this highly different environment.
We'll find out, I guess. Maybe some AI agents thrown in for some fun. Thank you so much. Please give a round of applause. But you stay sat down. Stay sat down.